right, so no lot of us are quarantined, so for those who are quarantined at home currently, this is your lesson for you. We are looking at traditions around the world for Christmas time or winter solstice. I know not everyone celebrates Christmas in the same way. Some people may not celebrate Christmas at all, but there are still a lot of winter traditions that happen in the middle of December for many different countries. So let's get to it. I've got a globe right here. Remember, we are the United States. We're going to go across the Atlantic for our first one through Europe to this yellow country right here by Russia called Ukraine. U-K-R-A-I-N-E. Ukraine. Traditionally, we decorate our trees with baubles and lights and tinsel and other ornaments that usually we either made at home or have purchased. They decorate theirs with that too, but they add a special twist. They actually put up ornament spiders. You heard that right, spiders. And it's not meant to be spooky like at Halloween, because they don't celebrate Halloween. So start with a head and an abdomen, and of course add 8 legs. There is a reason behind this tradition. There is an old story that a widowed mother could not provide enough money to buy decorations for her tree, and her kids would be very sad that there was no decorations for her children. You can put a bow on this, for Christmas. So the spiders that she let live in her house to get rid of all the pests did her a favor and actually got up and wove webs all over the tree just in time for Christmas morning. The tree glowed silver and gold with the webs in the morning light on Christmas Day. And spiders are actually considered good luck in Ukraine. So go ahead, do a spider and a spider web for Ukraine. We're going to stay here in the upper part. It's a very dark part of the world when it comes, because we're so close to the Arctic Circle. We're going to go to Norway next, which is that long yellow one right there. Very mountainous. Think the movie Frozen. So in Norway, it is a really weird tradition, but before Christmas Eve, you must hide your broom. It is tradition to hide your broom before Christmas Eve, because in their culture, kind of like how witches come out on Halloween, they believe that witches come out to steal the joy of Christmas before Christmas Day. So to make sure the witches have no way of getting around, they hide the brooms in the most safest, darkest places in their houses. So you're not going to find anyone sweeping on Christmas Day in Norway. In Finland, which is that red country right there, a lot of families, and this is a very dark time of year physically, it's night for a long time, they have only 4 hours of daylight. In Finland, it is very traditional. You'll have your house. You can laugh at my house if you want. I know it's a very simple house. A lot of snow piled up against it. You'll have a clear path to a smaller house with very little windows and a lot of smoke coming out of it, because they celebrate in the sauna by relaxing as a family in the family sauna. All the houses, almost all the houses have a sauna on the property in Finland, because it is part of their culture. And a sauna is where it's very warm inside. You wear pretty much just a towel, and you pour water over hot rocks that create steam. It's supposed to cleanse your pores. They believe it cleanses your soul, and it's part of what they do at winter solstice. All right, let's see here. So we're going to go to a tiny little island now. We have Greenland here, which doesn't have a lot of people, but Iceland, even though it's small, has a lot of people. It is a volcanic island that has snow. So snow and ice and fire are some of the things of Iceland. Iceland has many interesting traditions, especially beliefs in gnomes and ogres and other things like that. In fact, so much so that if they feel that a hill is inhabited by spirits, they will actually build a highway around it. They have 13 days of Christmas, and each day is visited by a different gnome. So you can do 2 jelly bean shows. They put their shoes, or the children put their shoes on the windowsill. And if the children have been good, so we can put a hole at the top of this one, give it a bottom and shoelaces. If they've been good, the shoes are filled with candy. Kind of like how we do stockings here. So you can put some candy pieces inside of it. Maybe little treats and candies. If the child has been naughty, we do coal. They do something I think is far worse because I hate the smell of it. You will get a rotten potato instead. And you can put little smelly lines in your shoe. These 13 Yule Gnomes, okay, come to each town. Each one is a different mischievousness. So like one's called Spoon Licker, the other one's called Door Slammer. They all have names like that that describe their mischievous behavior. And they're all sons of a pair of ghouls that live up in the mountain that will eat bad children on Christmas Day. So you better be good if you're in Iceland. So they do shoes, and 13 days of it. All right. Interestingly enough, we are going to go to England next. Oh wait, almost forgot. Hang on, there's one more in Scandinavia I forgot. Sweden. Yeah. Sweden. So Scandinavia is an interesting region. We have a lot of Viking mythology in this region. It was said that Thor's chariot was pulled by 2 mighty goats. It is also said that when the reindeer get too tired to fly the sled anymore, the country's goats will take over and actually deliver the gifts. So goats are a big thing in Sweden, and in many big cities in the city square, they will have a giant straw goat. So go ahead and make a big box, little box for the head, connect it. Goat's tails point up. And since it's a straw goat, y'all can give him some, humongous legs. But their horns, instead of being cute little horns, actually stretch all the way to the back. And they're decorated with bright red ribbon wrapped around them. They have a red sash that goes around the middle and ribbons that decorate the legs, sometimes even the neck. And it is all completely made out of straw. There is another weird tradition for this poor Yule Goat, which is what it's called. People bet to see if it can even make it to Christmas Day, because it is also a tradition for some mischievous person to try and light the goat on fire, since it is made out of straw. In one city in the last century, the Yule Goat has successfully been set on fire 35 times. So it is a big bet to see if the goat will even make it. All right, now we can go across the pond to England. We're going to hit 2 in the British Isles, England proper, and then the next one will be Wales. So in England, they don't say Merry Christmas, they say Happy Christmas. And they also get together. Turkey is the main thing that they eat. They have all the specific things. They do mince pie, which is a meat pie. They do puddings. They do cakes. They do different desserts, like one's called Spotted Dick. Can't help that. That's what they call it. All right, and other cheese logs. So a lot of meat, cheeses, and sweets. They also pop what are called crackers. I don't mean little bread-like crackers that we're very used to. Go ahead, give 2 kind of square cup-like things pointing at each other. Give 2 cracked egg wrapper ends to them. One person will pull on one side, another person will pull on the other, and when pulled hard enough, the little explosive inside of it will go off and it goes pop or crack and releases candy, playing cards, gold coins, and paper crowns and other fun things that you can wear or use or eat. Sometimes a joke, sometimes a riddle, but it has a prize inside. Sometimes even little bits of confetti come out. And you can write pop next to this. But in England it is traditional to pop crackers on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve. Alright, Wales, which is home to all the King Arthur legends and is a very different country. The Welsh are very different than the English, even though they're both considered part of Great Britain. Wales has a lot of traditions that actually go back before Christianity came to the British Isles. So if I looked at, we have Scotland up here, the little blue island is Ireland, and then Wales is just across the Man Channel from Ireland. So it's kind of right next to Britain. So in Wales, they have a very interesting tradition. And let's see if I can pronounce this correctly in Welsh. The Merry Lwyd, or Lwyd. Excuse me, Lwyd. This is, and get this has nothing to do with being spooky. It's good luck if it visits your house. It's bad luck if it gets into your house. You have to give it an answer when it asks. But we're actually going to draw a horse skull. Let's start with the eye socket. Come down. I'm going to draw the nose and teeth of this. And yes, you heard me right, a horse's skull. And the horse's skull is decorated with ornaments, bows, holly, and other things. So it looks interesting. A person holds it and uses it like a puppet. And there's some pretty nice ones out there, I must say. Kind of creepy in a way. So decorate it with bows. But a white sheet will be thrown over the person who guides Merry Lwyd, and they will go door to door and knock on it, and in a sing-song voice ask if it can come in. And the person who opens the door must also answer in a sing-song voice a reason why it cannot come in, though we are happy to see you. So a very interesting tradition of what they do on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day is Merry Lwyd. Looking at my list. All right. In Germany, since Iceland and Germany both see a lot of snowfall, and traditionally the reason why they use shoes and stockings is that you're hanging your stockings by the fire to dry, or you're putting your shoes near the hearth to dry out from walking through snow and slosh all day. In Germany, they also do shoes. So go ahead, give some jelly bean shoes. Instead of doing just sticking in candy, okay, and that's another thing they do in England as well, only they do candy and oranges. In Germany, you'll get a branch from a Christmas tree in your shoe. If you've been bad, the branch will be empty. It will simply be a branch, making your shoe smell piney fresh. If you've been good, there will be candy hanging on the branch, like little ornaments. So this person's been bad, this person's been good. Germany, again, with the shoes. In Spain, they have a Christmas log. Now, you might have heard of a Yule log before. Some people still celebrate that. It's the traditional way of bringing a pine into the house, and eventually it became the whole tree that we bring into the house. But before that, it was just the Yule log. Spain has retained that. They will have a Christmas tree, but they will also have a Christmas log. As a log is a cylinder. And yes, they put a face on it. It stands up usually, and they put it on the dining room table. It starts out naked. They give it a blanket to keep it warm and feed it sweets like it's a guest. It gets even more bizarre after that. So after treating it as a guest and after feeding it and taking good care of it, you take sticks and you actually whack it. And you demand it to give you back your treats, in which they give out chocolate treats that, well, look like certain things. I wish I could make this up, but I'm not. So yes, it's pretty much meant to poop out candy. And that's a tradition in the Castilla region of Spain. All right. Oh, I didn't point out these countries. So Germany is the big red one right there. Okay, right behind France. Spain is the yellow one right there. Now we're moving to a blue one that's just on the western side of Spain called Portugal. In Portugal, they have a lot of the same traditions we do. They do a tree, they have a big meal. A lot of people go to a church service. But when it comes to the meal, you'll have places for all the people who are living, and you'll have places set up for those who are no longer with us. They'll have an empty plate meant for the deceased set up at the table. And it's just a way of remembering and being respectful to those who have left us earlier in the year, or maybe even a few years ago, those who are in recent memory. So in Portugal, they have empty places at the dinner table. And of course, you have your place at the dinner table. You may be sat next to someone who will have a plate put out for them. Let's see here. So, now here's the thing. In Japan, there isn't a lot of Christianity. The two main religions are Shinto and Buddhism. What do you do for Christmas in a country that is not Christian? Well, it is traditional in Japan to eat fried chicken on Christmas Day. And KFC is absolutely slammed with orders on Christmas. They actually ask people to order months in advance for their Christmas party bucket that they get. You can put a bow on your chicken. It's very traditional. It's just something they do every year. So, Japan celebrates with that. Also is considered on Christmas Eve to be a romantic holiday, almost like Valentine's Day. If you're a dude in a relationship and you didn't make a dinner reservation for Christmas Eve, your girlfriend's going to be very mad at you. So countries that have ice, country that doesn't have church at all. What do you do in countries that don't have winter? So that's an interesting thing. So we got Japan here. It's this long chain of islands right next to China. So we're going to actually go down into South America, or in Central America, to Mexico. And of course, we all know where Mexico is. It's underneath the United States of America. And this is a tradition that's come into many of our places as well. A bright red flower that is actually tropical, cannot survive frost, so draw a few little berry-like flowers in the middle. Big red petals going all around it. Poinsettias are native to Mexico, and they only bloom during the dark months of the year. Or at least they only turn red during the dark months of the year, which happens to be winter time here in Mexico, even though the winters are very mild. It's never going to snow and it's never going to frost. So poinsettias are a tradition in Mexico. All right, moving down Central America into this orange country here. If you've seen Disney's Encanto, you might be familiar with the country of Colombia. Near the equator, it is tropical, so no winter. Think summer all year round. In Colombia, they have an interesting tradition. Since it's not cold, but it is dark, lots and lots of candles, lights, luminaries, which are bags with designs cut out of them with a candle inside. And they have competitions to see who could have the best Christmas display for their house. And on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, fireworks are a tradition in this country. All right, moving over to, unfortunately, a country that is having a very hard time right now, Venezuela. Does not help when your communist government collapses. All right, Venezuela, since it is also tropical and they can't ice skate, they have found a different way to get around to church on Christmas Day. Instead of ice skating, so draw a boot, they roller skate to church. It is very traditional for the streets to be closed from 8 a.m. to let people get to Catholic Mass on roller skates so they stay safe on Christmas Day. All right. I'm looking at all this. Okay, I have my list. So we have the Northern Hemisphere, which I'm sure a lot of y'all talked about from 3rd grade on, up here. Well, it's winter up here, obviously. Flip the world over, though, and everything in the Southern Hemisphere from September until March is actually having spring and summer, which means that Australia is right smack dab in the middle of summer when Christmas happens. What do you do down under when it comes to Christmas? Well, that's easy. Not only do we have the traditional Christmas meal and everything with ham, a lot of the kind of English traditions, since Australia was founded by England as a prison colony, pretty much. Yes, you heard me right. It was a prison colony or a penal colony at one point. Bad people who were just too bad for the jails of England are actually sent on boat to Australia. That's how it got started. We also have things like cookouts on Christmas Day, so you can have a hot dog. Burgers. They make sandmen. on the beaches if you live close to the beach, though granted not everyone does. You put little seashells and like seaweed on top and all that. So they make sandmen instead of snowmen. And it's very traditional to have surfing competitions around this time of year. Surfing is a big sport in Australia. And of course, pool parties. So everything you think about, like kind of 4th of July, is what they're doing for Christmas. Right, I'm almost running out of room. I'm going to try and fit it in. China. There is a Christian population in China, and they do celebrate. Even those who aren't Christian celebrate in a way in China. They have a Christmas tree, but instead of calling it a Christmas tree, they call it a tree of light. And they decorate it with lanterns. And a lot of lights. And paper chains. So light is another thing that China uses to help celebrate. Alright, last but not least, another tropical place, though granted it is not a country anymore, it is one of our states. Hawaii is still home to a large indigenous population, okay, the Hawaiians, and they say that Santa doesn't come on a sleigh. They say that Santa comes to their islands on a boat. So to celebrate that, Hawaii has boat races around Christmas Day. And of course, luau's. These boats are long and are paddled. So the long banana boat, and y'all can put multiple people in it. Alright, multiple people, and they all paddle like crazy and see who can win the race the best. So boat races in Hawaii with a luau. Alright, and that is some of the interesting, sometimes weird, at least to us, but to them completely normal, traditions of countries around the world for Christmas. I hope this has been a enlightening lesson, or winter solstice, whichever one you want to celebrate. I hope this has been a enlightening lesson for y'all, and hopefully look for some of these countries on a globe like this one. Alright, and if I don't see y'all again before Christmas, y'all have a Merry Christmas, or whatever you celebrate. Happy Hanukkah, winter solstice, Kwanzaa, just hanging out at home kind of holiday, and Happy New Year. Alright, see you in January.